So today we will learn IP version 6. So all these while you learn IP version 4. IP version 4 is a 32-bit number expressed in dotted decimal system. All zeros to all 255. There is 2 power 32, which is 4.3 billion. So anybody knows why you need a version 6, a new addressing scheme? Obviously, when this addressing scheme is doing well, why you need a new one? Because when it is over, the 4.3 billion IP addresses, it's a good number, right? So why it is required? So in fact, 1998 they started working on this new. They're ready with 1998. By 1998 they are ready with the new addressing scheme. That means they are working almost 6-7 years before that they started it. So by the time this number is too huge. Do anybody knows what is the current population of the Earth?
Around 4 billion.
Yeah.
Around 4 billion.
4 billion. This COVID news, nobody is reading only the numbers of how many people are so affected. So everywhere the news will be there. It's affecting 7.5 billion people. 7.5 billion. So by 89, 90, when the internet started, it was not that much. Now it is 7.5 billion. In fact, 2015, 7 billion people. 7 billion baby. There was a big discussion about that. They wanted a girl child to be 7 billion baby, a girl. I heard yesterday, ma'am gave some of you participation certificates. No girl got it. Shilpa used to participate a lot. Slowed down these days. Girl child. They wanted a girl child to be the 7 billionth baby. So in Bihar, one girl, they said that she is the 7 billion baby. That means she is born as 7 billion. Then Karnataka, another girl, they said, then they fought about it actually, which girl. But anyway, that was in 2015, 7.5 billion people. But 4.5 billion IP addresses are still good, because not everybody uses internet. Not everybody has a smartphone. They don't need a single IP address and all. But the way they allocated, why the shortage was, one thing is internet has grown so big that beyond anybody's comprehension. Now with Internet of Things, everything will have an IP address. Cars, bikes, everything will have an IP address. That too now interesting, the technology in this particular thing, probably the speed at which the internet should grow, now it is going to increase because of the current situation in the world, because they wanted mostly the remote access. You want to even access your car, bike also, you don't need to go, it will park itself, it will come to you on all these things. Driverless cars, they're all internet controlled, they'll become. You need more addresses now. But anyway, what exactly happened was, first time nobody knows, right? They thought internet was for education institutions, universities. If you remember, I told you it started for universities. For example, Stanford, when this internet and all started, they took a Class A IP address. MIT took a Class A IP address. Like that, some universities, they took Class A IP address. IT companies, when they enter, say IBM has a Class A IP address. HP, has two class A IP addresses actually. HP has two class A IP addresses. Class A IP address means what? 2 power 24 minus 2, that is 1677721 6 minus 2. 1.67 crores, 16 million IP addresses. Why a university requires 16 million IP addresses? Number of students also will not be that much. In fact, Stanford returned their IP address. They gave it back actually because they don't need it. Bangalore IISc, Indian Institute of Sciences, they have a class B IP address that is 65,536. Why do they need it? They don't need it. So like that, first come, first serve. They don't know that internet is going to be so big. If somebody applies for an IP address, they gave an IP address. Now, so who will give these IP addresses? I mentioned in the previously once in one of the classes. Do you know who sells IP addresses?
IANA.
Right? IANA. Internet Assigned Numbering Authority. Internet Assigned Numbering Authority. Right? With partnership with Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. ANA sells it. It's an old organization. They came up with recently the new one also. This is also 2015 they came up with this. Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. They wanted to change it, but they did not change. They both work together now. IANA, Internet Assigned Numbering Authority. So any individual also, a simple individual can directly apply for an IP address. You don't need to go through an internet service provider. But this is a comfortable method, right? Instead of you directly apply, a local guy you ask, say I took an IP address, I took all my IP addresses either from an Airtel or ACT or something like that. So it's easy for me, right? The local guy. So he buys from them. That's how it is. But anyway, that will come back. So first come first, IANA assigned to anybody who asked for whatever they want. Then suddenly within 2 years after starting the internet, probably late 80s and early 90s, they realized, man, this is not going to last long. This number is going to finish. Because HP took 3 crores IP addresses, 3.2, 3.5 crores almost. Why HP required 3.5 crores? There are 3.5 lakhs employees there. So they wasted. Are they wasted? They purposefully? No, they don't. It just happened. Mistake. Then they thought, okay, mistake happened, so we cannot do anything. We wanted a new one. They wanted to go for a new one. So version 4. They said version 6. Then what happened to version 5? Because it's an open standard, people proposed multiple versions. Version 5, version 6, 7, 8, multiple versions. Up to I think 16 versions or something are proposed. Then they evaluated. 5, they said, no, it's not good. 6, they said, good, let's work on it. So it's like somebody proposes with an RFC or something, and then they have to work on it, develop it. So it takes time, right? So now that they understood addresses are going to be over, then the new one is coming. So this is going to be over, the new one is coming. But in between, what will I do? So in between, what will I do? Yes, they came up with the concept of network address translation, which you know it. So NAT is not the beginning idea. NAT is the idea after the new addressing. They already started working on new, so temporary solution. NAT is a temporary solution. NAT is a temporary solution. So during NAT, during that period in between, they came up with network address translation. That is why if you see, private IP address is 10. right? NAT needs private IP address, you convert to public IP address, right? And then 172.16 to 31 or 190 to 168. Now, why is this private? Can anybody tell me why 10 only is private? Why not 9 or why not 11? Why 170 to 16? Is it the lucky number of the somebody who developed it? Right? Or the birthday of the girlfriend of the developer, 10th? Or his parents? No. Because 9 is already sold when the natting idea came. So when they applied that natting, natting is all these programs, very interesting. Everything you use, whether it is OSP or something else. Somebody like you, somebody like me, who's probably a better person than us, he developed that idea. Then he publishes them and then it is taken. Maybe an individual or a group of people or an organization, IBM may develop something, then they publish it as an RFC and then IEEE must have taken it. So somebody develops it. So that somebody, whoever developed it, right? Are you understanding? This private IP address or RFC 1918 or something, that number will be there. Request for comments, right? So when these guys, they did this, then they applied for it. So they said 10 is available. Okay, use that 10. 172.16 to 31 is available. That is why 10 and 1, because 9 is already sold by them. In an interview, somebody asked, I mean, it's a crazy question. Why 10? Like nobody knows why 10. It was given, that's it. Right? So that's how this whole thing happened. Along with natting, actually, there is a concept called CIDR, classless interdomain routing. Classless interdomain routing. This will help to reduce usage, the save IP addresses. This I have to teach you in routing, but actually people think that it is subnetting related. But it's not subnetting related. It's usage of IP addresses. Do one thing. Bhaginath?
Sir?
Yeah, Monday we will do what booting will do.
Yes.
So we have time, right? Remind me, I'll teach CIDR on Monday if I have time.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Or, yeah. You also remember, students also, in case, if I forget, because it's,
Yes.
you need to know that concept. I'll teach you that. But anyway, so natting and CIDR, these are for saving IP addresses. They thought 2-3 years we will, save them. I mean, use this natting or something, and then we'll shift to IP version 6. So 98, 99, IP version 6 is available. Right? 2-3 years, by 99, they thought, okay, they'll shift. But today we are in 2020. Can you imagine? 20, 21, 22 years. People are comfortable with natting, and I'm happy with natting. Why I need a new one? I don't need a new one. So human being is resistant to change. Right? We refuse to change. Are you understanding? Very classic example is sitting in front of you, a person called Mohan. Right? Probably I read that book, Who Moved My Cheese, which is all about changing. 25 years back. I read it multiple times and I kept it in my mind. I should be ready for change all the time. Last 15 years, people are, my friends are telling me, no, you should move online, you should go online, you should build this business online and everything. I resisted that change because I wanted to see my students' eyes and then feel it and teach and all that. Now I am changing. So I pushed this idea almost 15 years, online training. Probably I'm very late by this time, but yeah, this idea was advised to me by so many IITs, IIMs, big guys who are big business people. They said, Mohan, you should go online. Are you understanding? So human being is resistant to change. You don't know, internally you're built less like this. Like, this is comfortable. Why we don't need to change this? So that's why 3 years, what they thought, it took 20 years. Even today, we are using NATing. We prefer NATing rather than going to IP version 6. But eventually it has to happen. The time has come now to change. Right? So now, all this introduction is, it is going to be IPv6 for you, your generation. Now, most of the websites are running on IP version 6. You can directly buy an IP version 6 address and start using it. That is the current situation now. Okay. So let's learn that. So I need more addresses. So they said it's 128-bit number, because 32 bits is only this much. 128 bits, see this? This is how it is. 128-bit number, it looks this much. 3.5, 10 power 38. This is 38 numbers. You pronounce it like this if you want to. It's all these things you have to say. Right? Decillion, nonillion, octillion, sectile, septillion, sextillion, pentillion, all those things. Right? I don't prefer to say all those things. Because it is difficult like this, so I cannot have dotted decimal. They said, okay, let's have hexadecimal representation. So this number in a hexadecimal format looks like this. 2001, let's say 0D, a sample I'm giving you, 0db8, 0000, 0000, 0012, something. I'm putting more zeros for my convenience. Something like this, A, B, C, D. Let's say that's an address, right? Hexadecimal, each one is 4 bits. 2 means 0100. Like this, 4, right? Each one is 4 bits. 4, 4, 16. So each one is 16. So what do you call this 16-bit thing? Right? It can be called quartet or hextet. Actually, there is no official name for this. You can call it quartet. Quarter is 16, right? Quartet or hextet. This one can be called a quartet or hextet. See, normally 4 is nibble. This is called, each one is called a nibble. Octet, 8, octa, 8 each. Just for namesake, nibble, octet, then hextet or quartet, we call it. Separated by a column. 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Expression wise, you can put it like this: 2001 db8 0 0 1 2 0 0 ABCD. This is fine. This both are same actually. This, all, it's actually both are same. The only thing is what left side zeros. In mathematics, you don't have value for left side zeros. We ignored them writing, that's it. So you don't need to write left side zeros while writing this address. You can also put like this: 2001 db8. You can put a double colon: 1 2 0 0. So now I don't have 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm supposed to have 8 here, but 6 are there. So when you put a double colon, missing quartets are taken as zeros. So you can put one double colon in an expression, right? But if you put like this: 2001 db8 double colon 1 2. Now I have zeros here also. We put another double colon and ABCD. Now this is 1 2 3 4. Now 4 extracts are missing, or right quartets are missing. Then how? So how many here and how many here? 4 are missing. Then in that case, I can have 3 and 1, or 2 and 2, 1 and 3. I have possibilities, right? So missing quartets. So that is why this is not allowed, because you don't know how many. So 2 double colons in an expression is not allowed. 1 double colon in an expression is perfect. So expression wise, it looks like that. An IPv6 address is a 128-bit number expressed in hexadecimal. You can represent it like this: 8 quartets separated by a colon. And if you have multiple quartets with zeros, you can put a double colon. Left side zeros, you can ignore it. Any doubts?
Sir, in place of Perl, if there is a 0, so we can keep 4 columns.
Come again?
Sir, there is a 12 value. If we assume there is a 0 value, so altogether there will be 5 zeros.
Yeah. You can put double colon, no problem.
So altogether we can put 5 colons and
not 5 columns. If this 12 is also 0, you can write like this: 2001 db8, a double colon, ABC. So that means 1, 2, 3, 7 are zeros. Sorry, 5 are zeros. 5 quadrants, right? This is 0, this is 0. If this is also 0, this instead of 1, 2, you are asking this is 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if it is also 0, this is also 0. All the 5, just you put 1 double column. You don't put 5 double column, you just put double column. Double column means all missing things are zeros.
Okay.
Yeah? So, this is how it is. Half of it, 64 bits, is network prefix, they call it, like your network ID. Rest of the 64 is the host prefix. Host ID, they call it, a link ID, they call it. That is for the like host number, right? Network prefix, host prefix, 64 here, divided into. You don't need 64, but they designed like that, because 264 means 2 power 64, like you can't even count that number. You know how big is this number? If you write that number on the earth, you start writing from one corner of earth, say for example at your, in front of your house, there's, people put that rangoli type, like that you write this address. Every square inch of the earth, you have to write 21 numbers. That means this number is so big that earth is not sufficient to finish this number. Earth is not sufficient to finish this number. You need to go to Mars for that. This number is so big that every human being, 7.5 billion people now living, can each one get 2.5 million IP addresses. It's a huge number. Huge number. So no shortage possibilities now. Right? This is how it looks like. But how is it if you see this number and 10.0.0.10, which you are using it all this while? So you might feel, little scary, isn't it? Like, what? How can I manage this number? Because this itself is troubling us, subnetting, masking, and all that, right? But actually, this number is easy. This IPv6 is much easier than your version 4. Why? See, any technology, when it scales up from, we have seen, right? A lot of things have changed in our lives. Take your TV, change it. Now it is comfortable, right? The fingerprint, you don't need a remote, also mobile application, your voice instructions you can give to TVs these days. So anything becomes, the technology upgrade is always easy. If the technology upgrade is complex, then people don't upgrade themselves. They prefer old ones. Same way, IP version 6, even though because it is big, it's hexadecimal, you may not be comfortable with hexadecimal numbers. Right? You want to say, 10 rupees. So 10 rupees is easy for you now instead of saying 1010 rupees. Right? It's a binary and hexadecimal, something like that. So it's hexadecimal. Unless and until you're used to it, it will be a little difficult from the number perspective, but it's actually easy. How easy it is, for example, if you look at a mobile number, let's say 98450, something like that, if you see, normally a lot of people should be able to tell which service provider gave this number, isn't it? Right? You can argue with number portability and all just to win the argument, but otherwise every service provider has their own set of numbers. Anybody who is little observative, who can observe things, can tell, oh, you are using a Jio mobile, you are using an Airtel mobile, you are using a Vodafone mobile. So that observation, it's a sheer observation. Nobody teaches you that. Isn't it? Nobody, you don't go to a classroom to learn what is the STD code of Bangalore. Right? You don't need to go to pay somebody like Mohan to find out what is the pin code of your area. So these things are sheer observation. In fact, nobody teaches you. Very interestingly, nobody teaches you. You just learn them, most of the things. Version 6 can be learned like that as far as an address is concerned, actually. So initially they thought, okay, first what they did is IANA, Internet Assigned Numbering Authority. So it thought that, it will not, sorry. Right? IANA, initially they thought, they will not sell anything, because it's very big number, because first time they gave haphazardly, right? First, whoever wants first come first serve they gave. They said we will not give like that. First, they will decide which IP address. Right? They said anything that starts with 2. First bit is 2 or 3. They fixed the first 3 bits. Right? Slash format is like your same IP address. 3 bits means what? 001. This is fixed. Now, fourth can be either 0 or 1 because 3 bits are fixed here. So this is 2, this is 3. So they said they are going to sell either 2 or 3. Rest of the numbers they will not sell. Once 2 is over, 3 is over, then they will sell it. That's what the initial idea. They call it global unicast address. Global unicast address. This is all over the world. This is a public IP address, 2 or 3. But they changed that rule now. They can sell anything, but only they'll do it after 2 or 3 is over. That's what the idea is. Right? So how they do it is now to make your life simple. Earlier also this was there, but nobody followed it. So the whole world is divided into 5 regions. Under IANA, Internet Assigned Numbering Authority, right? Or ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. You have 5 regions: North America, right? South America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Africa. Right? So 5 regions. Every region there is something called a regional internet registry. So these are regional internet registries, RIRs they call them. In Africa, they call it Africa Network Information Center. Asia Pacific Network Information Center. Europe, they call it some Royal something, right? It is in Amsterdam. Here, South America, they call it Latin American Countries Network Information Center. In US and Canada, they call it ARIN. So now the idea will be like this. Generally, first 23 bits of this, your network prefix represents this. First 23 bits represents your region. That means you look at the 23 bits, you know which region it belongs to. Right? The next 9 bits represents service provider. You'll know BSNL or something. Next 16 bits represents location. BSNL Bangalore, Airtel Bangalore, like that. So this will make up to 48 bits in your network. Rest of the 16 are subnets. Rest of the 16 are subnets. Rest of the 16 are subnets. Okay. Are you understanding? So routing is also easy actually here. Why it is easy? For example, you sit in India, right? You type www.microsoft.com. Okay. www.microsoft.com. Microsoft.com is in US somewhere, let's say. Now a router here in your place, should it look at that 128-bit number? No. It just looks at the first 23 bits. So all the routers across need to look at the first 23 bits, and then they know it has to go to Aaron, US. After going to US, this next, the entry point, whichever router will see the next 9 bits, and he knows, oh, it has to be this service provider, Verizon. So they'll give it to Verizon. Now Verizon routers will see the next 16 bits, oh, it has to go to LA, go to Los Angeles. Then after going there, which subnet is that? Which network is that? So it's pretty comfortable. So main routing will happen only 23 bits if you route them, look at that address and route. And 16-bit subnets, what you can create like subnetting, you can use those 16 for example, 48 bits, let's say 2001 db8 1. This is a network, let's say, that is 48 bits is given to one company, let's say Infosys. Infi got this address. Now 16 bits, that is 2 power 16 subnets Infi can use. That means 2001 db8 1 is a network. Now 0001 is a subnet, 0002 is a subnet, 0003 is a subnet, 0004 is a subnet, and it goes on till F. So this number of subnets it can use, they all belong to this network, and then their subnets basically. Each one is a network again. How many subnets it can have? 65,536 subnets. So, for example, your company applied for an IP address, so they will sell you either /48. /48 is this 48 bits. So it represents that location, that network they'll give you. Or, with small companies, they don't want, they can give /56 also. That means in this again, they will take some 8 bits and give you the remaining bits. So you can have only 2 power 8 combinations with you. So they can play with these 16 bits, the service provider, Airtel. Now I say, as a Mons networking institute, why do I need 65,000 subnets? So I'll ask, hey, give me this. Because there are too many, they don't go to minute place because there are too many. So you don't need to worry about it. So /56 or /40, even though I don't need, probably they'll give me 256 networks. I can use them. I don't use them because it's fine. They'll not be expensive also because there too many numbers are there. So you actually don't need to remember anything. See these numbers, you don't need to remember them. Say 1999, this number was available. This is an AppNec, US, this number. Now there are too many things added now. So you want to see these now, which numbers represent which, you don't need to remember unless and until you start using them. But yeah, you can go to your IANA website and look for these things. From there only I got these things. I took these things long back. So if you see here, so this first 23 bits represent. This is like ripe Europe. Europe concentration will be more, right? Africa, see that Africa is all forest. Internet now, normal internet itself is not there. See this slackening. This is APNIC. This is ARIN, US. So that means what? India must be using one of these numbers. 2001 200, 2001C, 2001E, 2001 44, 100. These are the numbers which one of them must be India. Some of them may be China. Do you understand? So we have these numbers like this. So you just look at that. You know which country is that? Once you start implementing, that comfortable it will get. Is that fine? Any doubts? Okay. Yeah.
Sir, what is first 23 bits, sir?
Regional Internet Registry. It represents which region it is coming from. RIR. Regional Internet Registries. Is it from ARIN or is it from APNIC or is it from AfricaNet? Is it from RIPE or is it from, that means Europe or US or Canada or Latin America, Africa? It represents that area. Any doubts? So now I'll explain some things about this address. You need to this page is the most important page for you. Now, global unicast address is the one thing which I already explained. Global unicast address, right? So, public IP address. This is like your public address, and there is a lot of multicast here. Multicast addresses. There is a lot of multicast addresses. Okay. There is a lot of multicast addresses. Say RIP, OSPF, if you remember, 224.0.0.5, 224.0.0.6 you use it, right? Here, anything that starts with F will be multi. That means first 8 bits are like 11111111. That is multicast. See, /8 rest can be. Double column is all zeros we can think of. This will be like this: F02 colon 5. F02 colon 6. This is called OSPF version 3. We call it. So that means same thing. Your hello packets will be sent to this address. Your DR communication will be sent to this address. It uses that multicast. Lot of multicast. Interesting thing here is in V6 there is no broadcast. Broadcast has been eliminated. It's only multicast. No broadcast. So-called definition of your broadcast multi-access network, it's gone. But they have equivalent address which is like your broadcast. Say for example a packet, an address FF02 colon 1. If a multicast address goes with this address, this is to all hosts in the network. All hosts in the network is FF02 colon 1. FF02 colon 2 means it is to the gateway, to the router. That means anything comes with that address, only router will open it. Gateway will open it. EIGRP 224.0.0.10, I mentioned about it to you. This is FF02 colon A. 10 is A, right? This is IPv6 CIGR. RIP generally uses this 224.0.9. This is FF02:9. This is RIP NG, next generation. RIP NG they call it. A lot of multicast. So equivalent to broadcast, right? This packet FF02:2, that is like colon 1, that is broadcast only. It's like to everyone. Hi, bye, everyone. You can send that. Lot of multicast will be there. Now this is like your public IP address. It's unique. You have to purchase. Private IP address concept is not there, but if you want private, you don't want to purchase addresses, but you want free addresses, and you want to purchase only one, and you want to do NATing, you can still do it. For that, they have an address space. Interestingly, they have an address space, it is not written here, called unique local. Unique local address, which is like, it starts with FD. First 7 bits are fixed. In fact, it is with FC also. 7 bits means what? How it will be? I don't know if you can. Hexadecimal. F means what? All ones, right? F is 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? D or C if you see. 10 is A. Right? 11 is B. 12 is C. 12 means what? 8400. Right? That is FC actually. This is actually fixed for the unique local, but the unique local says that this should be 1. Compulsorily 7th bit, 8th bit should be 1. When 8th bit is 1, then it will become D also. So C and D both are fixed actually, FC and FD. Anything starts with FD. Now remaining, you can give anything, your network, you can give anything. That is unique local. For example, you have a network. Let's say. See, if you are not comfortable with hexadecimal, that little slight discomfort will be there. Otherwise, if you have a network, you can say FD, right? This is what FD 1, 1, right? This is my network, you can say. That means what? FD, or if you want much better numbers, you can. FD 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7 is my network, you can say. You can use anything, that will become a network, and then rest of the 64 host addresses you give 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 500 systems, you give 500 IP addresses, anything you want. You can do like that. That is private IP address. But you can't go to internet with this address. You cannot go to internet with this address. Now, interestingly, what happened was, see this, private IP address, you know, right? This is like your 10. Now your company is using 10. Okay? Your company is using 10. There is another company which is using 10. Your company is using 10. There is another company which is using 10. No problem, because you all both went to internet. I mean, you both go to internet, but you do NATing, no issues, and all that. Now, after some time, this X company and Y company are merged. You acquired this X company, acquired Y company, and both are using 10. Then a big headache now. Design perspective. You want to work like a single company. Now, I taught you GRE, right? 10 talking to 192.168, you can easily do GRE tunnel through internet and do it. 10 talking to 10. You are also using 10, he is also using 10. You wanted to communicate with 10. It's not possible, right? You have to change one of the companies. You have to change the IP address. Imagine it's a small thing, 200 systems you can change. Imagine this is like you acquired a company in Europe and there are 300 branches here. You are gone case actually. It's a big mess to change the entire setup because every IP address has to be changed. Otherwise, you can't have GRE tunnels or something like that. All roundabout configurations you have to do. It's not impossible. It's difficult. It's messy. So, you see, this problem we faced in the version 4 because we have only 10 or we have only 172 and we have 192. Even that problem is avoided here. There is an RFC. I don't remember 4319 or something. RFC 4319 is, you can check that, is for unique local. That RFC, it also provides a logical way of doing it. If you are really, I'm telling you, all of you 15 people sitting here now today listening to me, if you at all in your future, which is going to happen, if you are setting up a network, you really want to prove yourself good, you have to go through that RFC, the mathematical equation, and generate this network portion after FD, whatever you are going to generate. There is an equation. If you follow that and generate, it is connected to internet. It tracks everyone who is doing it. So you will get a unique number, so that if in future your company acquires somebody else also, if you have to merge with somebody else also, duplication will not happen. They developed it because here you have about what, 2 power, right? This is only 16 bits, right? Remaining 48 bits are there. You have huge numbers. So even for private IP addresses, they thought about this problem. So that is what advancement, that is what development is. Earlier it was not like that. Now they know these are the problems what we had. So everything they fixed a solution, except that it is a hexadecimal number. This is pretty conveniently, organizedly done. Any doubts?
Sir, in IP4 we have a IP resolver, which is a DNS, which resolves IP address to host name. So do we have anything for
Same
IP?
thing. All concepts will be same. All concepts are same. That will not, only address change. All concepts are absolutely same. DNS, DHCP, anything is same. Just an address. You have to give a DNS server address here also. Right? And one more address here. Say this, I explained you. Global unicast I explained. Multicast I explained. Just now I explained unique local. One more address is called link local address. See the English? Link local. See, this is my data link. Right? Data link means what? Your link. Right? This is a data link up to this router. Now if you connect this to another router, then this is another data link. Right? Here if you connect it to another network, this is another data link. This is a link. This is one link. This is another link. This is another link. They're all just different technologies. That's because this may be an Ethernet link. Right? This may be a serial. This point to point. This should be an Ethernet if it's a LAN, and if it's something else, it's something else. But each one is a different data link. An address which is used within the link, that is called, again, private is like unique local. Link local is very interesting address, which is only unique to that link basically. I mean, it is used within the link. Why is it required? Is, see, when you don't have a broadcast here, isn't it? You don't have a broadcast here. Don't have a broadcast. Now you want to assign IP address. One is manually you can assign an IP address, no doubt, or DHCP, automatic. So there is one more way of assigning IP address. One, assigning IP address you can assign manually. That means you configure it. Right? Second one, you use DHCP. Third one is an interesting way. System has its own way of getting an IP address called stateless auto address configuration, they call it SLAC. Stateless auto address configuration. To tell you that, say this all of you. How it works is, as I told you, there is no broadcast, right? ARP is not there here. There is no address resolution protocol. Here, see this address resolution protocol. I'll come back to that page. That is the main page for you. Everything today I teach will be in that page actually. I try to keep everything there so that you can have a. ARP is gone, replaced with Neighbor Discovery Protocol. Neighbor Discovery Protocol, NDP. See, if the system wants to communicate with this system, or if the system wants to communicate with router, right? If the communication is within the link, within your data link, right? Or to other data link. Other data link means other network. Within your network or outside. Now, outside packet should go to the gateway. You know that. That's basic routing, right? In either case, I need to encapsulate my application layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer. Now, data link layer, I need to put the MAC address. If within the data link, I need the MAC address of that guy, other side data link. So that will not change, because only network layer is changing here. You observe that network layer is changing. See, voice reference model, classic thing is that, right? Your data link layer, physical layer, network layer, transport layer, application layer. Now this layer is replaced. So it has to be integrated with both. That's it. Nothing else is happening. Only network layer is changing. Now I need a MAC address. That means how do you remove ARP from my whole process? I need something else to do the same thing. So they have something called a neighbor solicitation. Your ARP request is now neighbor solicitation. Your ARP reply is now neighbor advertisement. So we still have similar concept. Unless and until I have it, I can't. So I'll send a packet asking, hey, who is this neighbor? Can you give me your MAC address? So when I do that, my destination IP address is either FF02:2, that means to go to gateway, or FF02:1, that is to all the hosts. So I'm still sending it to everyone asking, hey, who is this guy, man? So who is Mahesh here? Can you give me your phone number? Who is Mohit here? Who is Shilpa here? Who is Mahalakshmi? I can just say it, right? Anyone who is there will reply back the same thing. I'm sending a multicast. Now, when I do this, I don't have an IP address. Imagine I'm sending it for a DHCP server. What will be my source IP address? In case of version 4, we are putting all zeros, like, because I don't have an address. Here, instead of putting an address all zeros, we put a link local address. Link local address. We put a link local address. Right? What is this link local address? It will automatically, as soon as you power on, now this computer, it has a link local address. Your computer now, wherever you are sitting, it has a link local address. What it will do is, it will take that FE80. Okay, fine. That is my network. Link local address network portion. Now I need a 64-bit host prefix. 64-bit host prefix. Right? For that, see, assigning manually, it's difficult, right? So IEEE, instead of electrical and electronics engineers, IEEE came up with a process known as, I'll do it here in this page so that it will be easy for you to, right? See, linked local addresses, every computer will have it, right? It will have the network portion as FE80. Yes, it's written here also. Now I need a 64-bit host prefix. IEEE, instead of electrical and electronics engineers, they came up with something known as EUI 64-bit process. EUI stands for Extended Unique Identifier. Extended Unique Identifier 64. What is it? Extend. What do you want to extend? Every computer has a MAC address, isn't it? This computer has a MAC address, let's say 0040ABCD1234. That is a MAC address of that guy. How many bits is that? This is 48 bits. You see, UI64 says, hey, this 48-bit number, you use it, man, for the MAC address. It's 48 bits, you use it as a link ID. So every computer's address, your MAC address can be part of it because you already have a 48-bit number. Why you want a new one again? But I want a 64-bit number, so I extend it. So what it will do is, so this, the same MAC address I'm taking, 0040AB. This is 24 bits. CD1234. This is 24 bits. Now you have 48 bits. So divide this into two parts. 24, 24. Now how many you need now? 16. Right? For those 16 bits, you just add F, 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 E. Extension, how it will do is divide your MAC address into two parts. Add F, 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 E in between to make it 64. In this, one more thing is here, the 7th bit. In this first 24 bits, 7th bit will be inversed. Inversed means 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0. So here, the 7th bit, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The 7th will be inversed. 0 becomes 1, then it will become 2 because it is 1248. Hexadecimal, that's what you need to know. So my link local address for this computer will be FE80. That means if you go back to this page, if this system is sending an address, it will put source IP address as FE80, right? 240 AB FF FE CD 1234. That will be the link local for that system. So every computer will automatically get a link local address. Now if you see my system, now this system, right, which where I am sitting now, I will share it with you. If I see my system now, right, if I go to my command prompt, if I say ipconfig, see my system, I have a link local address. See that? Link local address. FE80, right? See this portion? This is a link local address. Now, why that? Microsoft has its own style of doing it. Microsoft, again, it just came up with its own style of doing it. So that FFFE is not there, it generated its own link local. See that here, FD. Can you see this FD? It starts with FD. It created a my unique local address also. You can see that. Some 5191, some 300, some. I have a unique local address. So if I have an address, if I NAT it, I can still work. See this? This is my two LAN cards. It is showing my Ethernet card, which my cable, if Wi-Fi wireless adapter card. Are you understand? You can see that, right? Every computer, you can check in your computers. It will be link local address will be there. Are you understand? Right? So I connected with the cable also. Now it's my Wi-Fi is, it's not working at this point, but yeah, it is showing you a different address also. Do you understand? So if you see here, link local automatically FE80. FE80. Do you understand? That's how it works. Every computer will have a link local address. Right? Link local address. That is what it is. So global unicast, link local, unique local, multicast addresses. Now, every time I'm explaining you with this, anyway, I think I deviated from this. Slack, stateless automatic. Now, what happens now? See this, all of you. As soon as your system is up, as soon as you power on your system, okay? As soon as you power on your system will send a packet. Will send a packet. So this, your system will send a packet known as router solicitation. Hey, who is the router? Or as soon as your router is ready, it will send a router advertisement. Router solicitation or router advertisement. Router will, I'll show you when we do the lab. Router will send a packet saying that I am the router. When it sends a packet saying that I am the router, in that router advertisement, it says what is its network. Imagine in this page, this is all of you. So this, let's say this guy, this entire network, we want to give, say 2001 db8 1. This is my network, let's say 64-bit network. See, I put 16 bits here, 16 here, 16 here. 1 means all zeros 1. This is 48 only. But if I say 64, that means when I put the double colon, remaining 16 are zeros based. Another 16 also, I don't need to mention, right? When I put double colon, it will become 0. That's the idea base, right? That's how it is. So I just want you to understand all expressions, right? So this can be equally written as 2001 db8 1 0 slash 64. Both are same. I did not put the 0 there. That's because you know the double colon means 0, right? Imagine this is my network. So what will I do? I'll go to my router. I'll give, let's say 2001 db8 1 0, right? Are you understanding? Double colon 1 is your IP address. This is a 128-bit number. 1 means what? All zeros 1 is the IP address. So I gave it as an IP address to this. Now, as soon as this router IP address is given, it will send to everyone a destination IP address as FF02 colon 1. It'll tell everyone, hey, this is my network. This is my network. So this system will know 2001 db8 1 is my network. This system will also know 2001 db8 1 is my network. This system will also know 2001 db8 1 is my network. Now what they'll do now, 1 is my network, I know it, right? Two columns should not be there, right? Now what they do, they will take their MAC addresses, right? 240 ABFF FECD 1234, right? 250 ABFF FECD 1234, something like that. So they will add their MAC address and they all will get IP address. They all will get unique IP address. That's it. So this computer now, just by configuring a router, I have my own IP address, global unicast IP address. I have my own link local address, which starts with FE80. I have my own unique local address, which starts with FD. So every computer can have, but unique local can be an option, but every computer will have one global IP address, one link local. right? So you don't need to do anything. See, in this entire thing, this is what is called SLAC. Stateless automatic auto address configuration. So you just configure your router and every system will take the network, attach the MAC address, take the network, attach the MAC address, take the network, attach the MAC address. They're ready. That is what is UI 64, extended unique identifier. So you don't need no need of DHCP. You can configure perfectly, no issues with that. You don't need that. You can take it from the router. You just configure the router and automatically the SLAC will work. So whenever this communication is happening, source IP address is always link local, destination IP address is always multicast. In a data link, when one system talking to another system, one system asking the other system, one system going to the router, always, right? My source is link local. So if I'm sending any of these 4 packets, my destination is multicast. Router solicitation means who is the router. Router advertisement, I am the router. Neighbor solicitation is who is the neighbor. Neighbor advertisement, I am the neighbor. This entire thing is neighbor discovery protocol, which is now ARP is replaced with this. So in the process, you need to understand what is the link local address, what is the multicast address. And for this entire example, I used an IP address 2001 DB81. 2001. See this? Here also when I was explaining, I think I used, see, 2001 DB81. Here also when I was explaining, I used 2001 DB81. So that is not randomly I chose that address. That address, it is 2001 DB81, DB8 basically, first 32 bits are fixed. This address is reserved for examples that is given to people like me. Why? Because first time they haphazardly gave it, so IP version 4 they have issues. So now every purpose they gave an address. 2001 DB8 or 3FFFFF. This address also 37Fs. They both are reserved for examples and documentation. Loop back. All zeros, one is loop back. All zeros is any network. See, this is unique local is mentioned here. Actually, this I explained there only. Unique local should be there. You have to learn FC. Basically, 7 bits fixed and 7th bit here 1110. Sorry, 1111 1110. That is FC. But 7th bit is fixed as 1, so it will become FD. So anything FC, FD, because 7 bits are fixed here. Either it can be 0 or 1. If 1 means FD. Generally FD, you have seen that. FD it is here. See? FD. Yes. The RFC says that 7th bit, 8th bit should be fixed as 1. That's why FD. So if you understand this page, you know almost everything about the address. Go through it. I'll give you a couple of minutes. This is going to be the future. You will get good options now, good opportunities, migration projects. Everything will migrate. Every company will migrate. Every application will migrate. Name resolutions will happen. All these things.
Sir, example IP address 2001 colon 0 DB8. That one, as you said, we can write it. We can write the 0 DB8 as DB8, right?
Yeah, you can.
So, for in case like some expert, he gave the same address to some person who got aware of this newly. Like, if he how would he know whether to place the zero in front of D or after 8? Like,
What do you mean by that? The zero is just that they gave that address, they fixed that address. So that's why I said 0D. Even if you don't put 0 here, doesn't make any difference. So if somebody is need not know that 0 should be in front of it or after that, right? It is in front of it only, that if you want to use this address, if it is D0B8, imagine 2001 D0B8 is a different network. It has nothing to do with this address. It's totally different address. It's totally different. It has nothing to do with that reserved address. It is like you have to pay money for this and purchase this address. These addresses are sold addresses. Global unicast address. It falls into the category of global unicast address. If 0 is next to D, then it is global unicast address. So you have to buy from INA. But how would he know? According to your question is how would he know should he put a 0 here or not? Then that's why you are paying me the money and learning, right? Isn't it? See, once I asked my student in a classroom, generally I asked, for you also I asked, right? Which IP address do you know and all. Everybody answered, said the 10 or something. You know, one student, if I remember well, in 2002, it was I asked a question. That student, he gave me, right, 16.7.92.0 is his network. Okay. Then I asked him, do you work for HP? He said, no, I don't work for HP. Silpa, you should know, HP owns this address 16. I don't know whether I told you or not. This is owned by HP. Like if you don't work for HP, then why are you using 16? Then he said, sir, my company started 16th July 1992. So we are using that IP address. So from 92 to 2002, 10 years, they use that IP address 16790. They may be using it now also if the company is still working. They're using somebody else's address. What is the problem now? Will it work? Yeah, it will work because they do NATing. They will not go out with this address to the internet. But the problem comes here is if they want to go to HP, they can't reach HP. So 16 network they can't reach because 16 they think that it's a local network. Anything other than 16 they still work. They are using somebody else. So what is the problem is here? He doesn't have knowledge. See the how beautifully they thought 16th July 1992 is when the company started, so that administrator decided that is their IP address. So if somebody puts 0 next to that or 0 before that, how do they know? They have to learn. They have to. If you are a system administrator, you should be knowing IP address. So without knowing IP address also, this gentleman started a system network. It worked. So what kind of problems they face? They may not be able to reach some networks, but it still works. So if your question is how do that person knows, then it is, I don't have an answer. They have to know. That's it. They have to learn. So if you do mistakes, networks will face some issues, but it still works. Hope I clarified the doubt.
yes.
Any other doubts? So we will take an example, a small example, and configure what we learned so far. Okay. So what I'll do is, see this, I'll take a simple network. All this while we are doing it, something 10, 20, 30 type. So now we'll do hexadecimal, this IP version 6. So I'll give this network 2001 DB8 1/64. So it is like this, 2001. Instead of DB8, yeah, I can put 0 DB8. 0 DB8. Right? I can do that. 0 can be ignored also. 0 DB8. I can put 0002/64. Or I can put only 2. 2001. All are my expressions. DB8, correct expressions. 3/64. So the difference is, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. But everywhere I gave 64 but only represented 48. So that means because of double colon remaining as zeros. So if I want to give an IP address to this system, right, I have to go to that this router, I have to go to that interface, IP version 6 address 2001 DB8 1. So the last one I can give, I can leave it, because if I want a 0, I can leave it. 0 64, I'm saying UI 64. That means take the MAC address. That means what? Whatever this guy's MAC address, right? 24 and 24, right? In between that FFFE will come. So 1 second. 10 is not. We'll do one thing. I'll just connect it to this network itself and I'll show you live. Agnad, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
See, the system may be sleeping.
Okay, sir.
Router 2 and 3?
3 and 4, sir.
3 and 4, yeah. So it's all of you. So show interface fast Ethernet 0/0. So if I see this guy's MAC address 001B 2AB6 6026. 001B 2AB6 6026. The MAC address of this interface is 001B 2AB6 6026. Right? 2AB6 6026 001B. Okay. So what will be my 128-bit number? right? My 128-bit number is going to be 2001 DB810. That is the network what you have given. Then 001B will become 21B. Why? Because the 7th bit is changed, inverse. 2A FF FE B6 60 FE. This is FEB6 6026. So that is going to be my 128-bit number. 2A FF FE B6. So the red color ones are going to be the changes to the MAC address. Right? So let's see if I am correct. So how we will see? I have not configured. I'll ping this number. Ping 2001 DB8 1021B 2AFF FEB6 6026. Right? I assume this number is correct. I typed because you have to go back to the screen and see. Let's see. Unrecognized host. Okay. I'll go there. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0. No shutdown. Okay. Then IPv6 address 2001 DB8 1://64 EUI 64. Okay. Now if I say show interface fast Ethernet 0/0, doesn't show anything. It's the old information what we have. No IP address and all that. Now same command, if I modify a little, instead of show interface, if I say show IPv6 interface. So this fast Ethernet 0 is up, line protocol is up. Okay. And then, so this IPv6 is enabled. Link local address, see that? FE80 and then 21B 2AFF FEB6 6026. Global unicast address 128-bit number. Is this the number, the same one I tried to ping? Let's see. 21B, yeah, 2001 DB8 1021B 2AFF FEB6 6026. Cool. That's the same number. See, I joined a multicast group. See that FF02:1, I belong to that group because that's to everyone in the network. See, FF02:1 with the last 32 bits of this. So this is again for that particular system. Right now, if you see here, so this when I ping this now, let's see if I can ping. I'm pinging. Perfect. I'm pinging. Okay. If I say show IP route, there's nothing. Let's say show IP V6 route. See, I have a name, right? I have a local address. I link this is a local address, that is 128-bit number, right? This is my network which I connected to. This is multicast. See, I'm able to ping. So I did not give the entire number. I can give the entire number. For example, I'll go to other router. So this enable configure terminal host name R4 line console 0 synchronous interface fast Ethernet 0/0 no shutdown. See, IPv6 address 2001 DB8 3. This is right, the third network. See, there I gave /64. I said UI 64, right? Now I'll change this. Now what I'll do, I'll give manually the address. ::1/64. Now what am I saying? Now what am I saying? I'm saying this, your IP address is 1. What 1? All the zeros and 1. First IP address, anywhere gateway, right? So it works. So here I did not use UI64. I said 1 is your IP address. That means all the 64 bits you have, all the 63 bits are zeros and last one is 1. That's your address. I said cool. It took it, right? So it need not be that you should give only UI64, right? I mean it doesn't use any MAC address, right? Same way serial interface serial 0, right? IPv6 address 2001 DB8 colon 2 colon /64 UI6. Now if I say UI64, serial doesn't have a MAC address, right? Which MAC address serial is going to take? You take Ethernet MAC address. No problem, because the address is different. See, serial will not work unless and until you configure both sides, right? So I'll go here, configure terminal, interface serial 0, right? So this IPv6 address. See that what I'm going to do, I'm going to change only the 2, right? So because network 1 is Ethernet, 2 is serial. Now I said UI, then it will take the same MAC address. That means what? His MAC address, serial MAC address also, this part is going to be same. 21B, 2AFF, FEB6, 6026. Why? This part is going to be different. This instead of 1, it will become 2. So this part is going to be same because it's my lab. I decided. So shut down. If I do that, serial will come up. Now if I say show IPv6 route, not sure, show IPv6 route. Perfect. See that? I know network 1 also, I know network 3 also. But my target is what? I want to ping that guy. Ping 2001. Who? The other guy, DB8. Colon 3. Colon 1. The third network. So routing has to be enabled. So it says no valid routes for the destination. To make it a router, see the interesting thing. You need to give this command. IP routing, you remember? Yesterday so many times no IP routing I did. In case of, because these are all IP version 6 routers, you should give IPv6 unicast routing. So this, you have to give this command, then only it will become a router. IPv6 unicast route. Now say this, I'm making a router. Okay, let's see what is the IP address of this system. Where is my IP address? Okay. So this is my IP config. If I say, so this is a link local address. See that? So this system already took some IP address. I think it is taking from the, which system is this, Bagina? They took it. Server, right?
Yes, sir.
Why you took it? Let's see. All of you see this. I'll go here. Go to change the adapter settings, my local area network. Properties. See, TCP/IP, we give the IP address here, right? Same way, version 6 series, properties. See, it is given there. That is why it is showing. See? That's why it is showing. Right? So that IP address. Now, if I say obtain IP address automatically, right? It was there, right? Okay. See this? Very interesting. It's manually given. See that? IP address is given. Subnet mask is given. Default gateway is also given. In fact, it is given according to our lab only. Right? Okay. If I say obtain IP address automatically, imagine obtain IP address automatically. Right? Obtain IP address automatically. Now say this, all of you. I capture a packet here. V6. This not much traffic now. If I go here, I say okay, I close this, and if I see this, stop it here, right? There are packets which are going from FE80, right? See this multicast address, destination IP address. If you see here, destination FF02:16, FF02:1:3:16. See this, some packets are going. So actually the packet which I wanted did not come. See, it came here. Neighbor solicitation. See that? Neighbor solicitation. Right. Anyway, let's do this now. So I'll again start capturing these packets now. I said get an IP address automatically. Right. Let me confirm that once. There. Yeah, I said get an IP address automatically. Now if this router is connected to this guy, see this, I'm capturing some communication. Right. If I go here, is this connected to the same switch, Bhaginath?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See now, and I say unicast routing. I said I'm making it a router. Just routing is enabling. Okay, I'm enabling routing here. See this. Now if I enter this, now say this here. Right. Stop it here. Which will happen. Now first thing I'll show you. Now say this IP config. If I say now. Config when I say, see this, my system got an IP address 2001 DB81. You can see this is the IP address 001 DB81. The system got an IP address. How it got it? From this guy. How we got that? Router told him. What router told him? So this, if you see here. See this packet? Router advertisement. See this packet? Router advertisement. This router advertisement. This is the packet. This is the second screens. So this all of source IP address. So this FE80. See this 21B 2AFF FEB66026. Can you see that? FE80 21B 2AFF FEB66026. How many of you remember that is your link local address? Your link local address is, where is that? Here. Your link local address is here. FE80 2AFF FEB, sorry, FE80 21B 2AFF FEB66026. This is the link local address. Is it the same here? So this FE80 21B 2AFF FEB66026. Perfect. Destination. So this FF02:1. I told you FF02: means all the systems. Now what this packet contains? What it is containing? It says, see this, my prefix, see this column, my prefix is 2001 DB81. This is the network. You can take this network, add your MAC address, and then create yourself if you want to. So router advertisement. What is this packet? It's called router. So this router advertisement from whom? 001B 2AB6 6026. This system, this router sent a router advertisement. So this router advertisement, right? That is how it works. Right? So what happened? It sent a many things now. So that's how I got my system. So from my system, if I want to ping my router, let's see, we can ping 2001 db8 colon 1 colon 0 21b 2aff feb6 6026. See, I'm pinging my router, my gateway. So it's as simple as your IP version 4. You just need to understand the address. Any doubts? Yeah. So we gave IP addresses. That's it. So if you see here, show IP route, we gave IP addresses. Now we need routing. Now routing RIP did not learn, right? OSPF. OSPF when you learn, right? So this, you configured OSPF, router OSPF on the network, and then the wildcard mask. Anybody in this classroom sitting here now, can you tell me why you need a wildcard mask? OSPF? Why you need a wildcard mask? If I conduct an interview, I'll ask that question. You need a wildcard mask because you choose which interface to run that protocol. Mask it. You identify the interface. So the way you did not answer the question now, all of you sitting here, you better realize it. You're still not comfortable with that wildcard mask, why you gave it and all those things. Then listen, until you work, you will not be comfortable. So because people are getting discomfort with that wildcard mask, while the wildcard mask is becoming complex. So in version 6, they avoided that. They said you configure it on the interface. OSPF version 3 is that. OSPF version 3 means you can configure on the interface itself. You don't need a wildcard mask. Even version 4 thing also you can configure on the interface. IP, right? V6, OSPF, right? The same thing. So this IP, OSPF. I can configure actually version 4 also here. We are learning V6 today. This is OSPF version 3. IPv6 OSPF, right? And a process ID, area, and the area number. Perfect. That's it. See, area number you can give an IP address format also. But here, one thing about OSPF is, OSPF, if you remember, first thing OSPF does is creating a router ID for itself. We discussed in STP also, router ID, while required for DRB, DRL election and everything. So router ID should be version 4 router ID. If version 6 router ID is there, no problem, but you don't have version 6 router ID. You need version 4 router ID. So when I configure this, it will scold me, see this? Or rather it will request me, see this? IPv6 OSPF, same thing I'm telling you, you can do version 4 also. IPv6 OSPF 10, area 0. If I give this, so this, it will give me a, so this, OSPF version 3 process 10 could not pick up a router ID. Can you please configure it manually? That's what it is saying. I can simply give an IP address, it will become a router ID. You know that, right? You can give any IP address, it will become a router ID. So I gave an IP address. It's fine with that. Now I'll go to interface serial 0, right? Same command I'll give IPv6 OSPF area 10. So OSPF is configured here. That's it, just an interface command. Now if I say debug IPv6 routing, IP routing. Now if I say show IPv6 route, this I have now 1 and 2. I need to learn 3 to communicate there. I configured OSPF. So if I go to the other side, here also, what are the steps you need to do? First, make it a router. How do you make it a router? IPv6 unicast routing. Commands will be there with you. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0. You need an IP address, or you can configure router ID. You can go to router OSPF 10 and you give router ID also. No problem. Or you can give a loopback address. So I'm giving normal IP address 30.1 for example. Right? Then IPv6, OSPF, process ID, area number. Now it will not give me an error because it already has an IP address. It picked up the router ID. Now the moment I enter this, you can see OSPF is working. See, loading to full state. Show IPv6 OSPF neighbor. See this. So this, it learned a route 110/65, same metric. You can see that same metric. So this, what route it learned? Network 3 it learned. What is the next hop address? Link local address, not the global address. Because this router, if you remember, this is where I want you to understand this, what I explained you here. Between these two links here, this link is a separate data link, I told you, right? So between this and this, the communication is always link local. So he will know OSPF will send a link local, OSPF will send a link local address. So when I am pinging with the, my address will be link local address, not the global unicast. They never talk in that link. It's always link local address. So that is why. So this, when I learned a route, next hop address is the link local address. So this, adding a next hop address as this link local address. But metrics, everything is same. 110/65. Administrative distance is same. CCO, IP, OSPF, neighbor. See, but router ID is my version 4 router. My neighbor is 30.1. Priority is 1. State is full. Are you understanding? Can you see that? This is how right? Interface is serial 0. So now if I ping this guy, ping. So earlier we pinged, right? It said the address is not there. Let's see if I ping is there. See, if I ping this guy, earlier it said route is not there. Now it should ping. See, I'm pinging. Does it show IPv6 route? See that? O means OSPF. See, my next hop address is the link local address. So if you want a static route, which you learn, IP route, you learned if you want to go to 30.0.0.0 with 255.0.0.0, go to serial 0/0/0. See, I'm going to modify this route. IP route is going to become IPv6 route. My 30 network is going to become 2001. Only address is changing. DB8:3::. My subnet mask in this instead of this format /64. Go to serial 0. That's it. See? The route is replaced because debug is there. Because of better distance, 1 versus 110. OSPF is 110, right? 110. Now static is 1, so it replaced. Now if you see show IP route, IPv6 route. So now I have a static route. OSPF is not there. So now I can ping with the help of static route. Now so this same route, static route. See what I said, no mask, any mask, any network, internet route, default route, all zeros. I don't write double column. Done. Right? So from this system now, we pinged our gateway. We are pinging. Let's see, we can ping the other guy. Ping 2001 DB8:3::1. That is, you remember the diagram? I'm sitting on this system here. I'm sitting on this system. I'm pinging this Ethernet interface. I'm going to my branch office now. Right? Let's see if I can. See, I'm pinging. That's it, done. That's what routing is. Now you want an access list. You don't have standard and extended. So this configure. See, if you know the logic, it's all the same. See, IPv6 access list, right? Give any name. Mohan's deny. Mohan's TCP. Sorry. 1 second. 2 steps, right? Named access list type. Mohansh, so I'll go to IPv6 access list, deny TCP, let's say from 2001 db8 colon 1 colon /64. So from this network going to, let's say, anywhere equivalent to www. But where? I have to go to that interface. IPv6 traffic filter. It's not access group here. Traffic filter. Mohansh. Exactly the same logic inbound. So at www I stopped it. That means what? Ping will stop. Implicit deny. See, destination network is unreachable. Now you want to permit this ping. Sorry, what I did. I just thought I'm typing exit here. Right? You go to Mohansh again. If I say permit, let's say ICMP from 2001 db8. So as many times you type these things, you will be comfortable with this hexadecimal numbers. 64 anywhere. Right? So now I think I close this window. Again, if I go there, sorry. Mouse has become oversensitive. So now if I see here, I ping 2001 db8 3 colon 1. See, it will be pinging. Just now it said destination network is not reachable. Now it's pinging because I permitted it. So if you see here, show IPv6 access list. So this, it also has sequence numbers. You can play with that. Configure terminal. So you go to Mohansh, IPv6 access list Mohansh, permit TCP, let's say from anywhere to anywhere, equivalent to 23. Right? Or deny TCP from anywhere to anywhere, equivalent to 21. Now you want this rule to be on the top, you can say that 15. But you give the number there, right? Here you have to say sequence. Sequence 15. You have to start from the, you just have to type sequence keyword there. Then it'll go to the 15th position. Right? Let's say 44. Permit. Sorry, sequence 44. Sequence 44. Permit IP any source. That is like anywhere to anywhere means like you are removing the security itself. But just to show you that, yeah. So this. So sequence 15, I added something in between. Sequence 44, I added something here. So you can just change those things. And everything you say traffic filter, you apply it on the interface. It's same. It's just the logic is absolutely same. That's what I've been telling. In fact, all my students all the time. Right? If your fundamentals are clear, you know what you are doing. If a new address comes, now 6 goes, 7 comes, it's all the same. Right? That's how it works. Right? The last point today I want to teach you is, so this is what static routing configuration. Just give that command. Right? RIP ng, you have not learned. OSPF. So this, you just go there and do it. Right? See, LSA type 8 is here. See this? Link local LSA. For the link local, you have an LSA called type 8 LSA is IPv6 link local LSA. And so this here, access list. Just now I configured it. So you have to give the sequence number if you want to change the order. Otherwise, you can just do it with the traffic filter. Commands will be given to you. The last thing is, yeah, if you go to an interview, they might ask you, how do you migrate? If I want to migrate, how do you migrate? Why Y6 is chosen is because V6 very clearly specified 3 migration techniques. One is dual stack, another one is tunneling, Another one is NAT. See, this NAT T you don't understand because you need a little bit of understanding about policy-based routing, something called policy-based routing, which you have not learned. Okay, CCNP level you learn it, so you don't understand this. Okay, so leave it. Tunneling you can understand. Tunnel, just you create a logical tunnel. You remember tunnel interface you create exactly like your tunneling. That means anything comes here, it will be encapsulated and sent like your GRE tunnel. That means you have a V4 packet, it will be inside encapsulated. It can be encapsulated with V6, or you have a V6 packet, it can be encapsulated with V4. The most simple thing, if anybody asks in an interview, you should better talk about dual stack. Right? Today I'm going to show you dual stack. Tunneling you can try with your own, GRE tunnel logic. You can apply it, because it's not everything. CCNA level 1 is more than enough. In fact, in an interview, somebody asks you, draw this diagram. You tell them now currently your company is working on V4. V4. Everything is V4 now, right? So you tell them if they recruit you, you change a small portion of network into V6. Here also a small portion of network into V6, right? Why small portion? Because you don't know what problems you are going to face. Which portion you are going to change? Something which is non-critical. That means what? This should not disrupt your normal operations. Your company is in a support team. You're sitting here and managing a network in UK. You're not going to change the entire thing there. So maybe some admin systems, maybe 1 or 2 systems. So you choose in every department 1 or 2 non-important systems. You change them to V6. Now what V4 address is there, you give V6 also. V4 is there, you give V6 also. V4 is there, you give V6 also. So that means what? V4 will also work, V6, that is why dual stack. Now once you successfully do that, then you increase it to next level, right? Some more systems you keep adding. So every time you add, so if you face any problem, it's easy for you to troubleshoot only in that area. So within a month or 2, you totally can take over the network. That is dual stack. See this? We can do it now, actually. So now we have V6 we are pinging, right? V6 we are pinging. Let's try to ping V4. See, I'm not pinging. My router says there's no IP address here. So now what I'm going to do, configure terminal, interface serial 0/0/0. I'll give IP address 20.0.0.1 to 55. Go to 20.0.0. Sorry, IP address, not router. Right? So because you forgot OSPF, I'm configuring OSPF again. Router OSPF. Right? Network. See, this is, I asked a wildcard mask 1 question. You did not answer. See, area 0, wildcard mask, because I'm checking the first 8 bits. So I'm deciding which interface you want to run OSPF. Same way, I'll go on this interface also, I'll run OSPF. Right? Same thing. I'll go to next router, configure terminal, interface fast Ethernet 0, we already configured, I guess. So serial 0, IP address 20.0.0.2, then router OSPF network, right? 20.0.0.0. See this, you can try this, any network, any mask, area 0, you can do that, right? So now OSPF is up now. So I gave a different command here now, you see this, any network. So that means on all the interfaces it will run. Now if I say show IP route, see I have OSPF, that means this guy should be pinging. So this same interface, I'm pinging with OSPF, pinging with version 4 address, pinging with version 6 address also. Same interface. Dual stack is implemented. System is also pinging. Now if you see here show run, so this interface, see what you configured, version 4 address, version 6 address, version 6 access list, version 6 OSPF, version 6 static, version 4 OSPF. So whatever you learned, you are there. It's there in this router now. Everything you learn is here. Version 4 is there. Version 6 is there. OSPF is there. Static routing is there with all the protocols. If you actually think today, entirely new address, from address, IP address, from subnetting point of view, IP address assignment to the router, IP address assignment to the system, with more discussion on multicast, OSPF, static, the entire thing you learned in all these 4 or 5 weeks is again taught in a new address today actually. Why it happened in 2 hours to a little more than 2 hours class? Because we already discussed all of them. Only thing is a new address. So that's what your understanding should be. Is that clear? Any doubts? No doubts? Then have a nice weekend. See you on Monday. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. But you guys are too silent here. This course is coming to an end and you guys are getting silent. Chalo. Work on it. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.